You're watching Network Radio. Live from the Media Broadcasting Center.
Good evening, everybody. And I think I got everything turned on as usual. So I'm about a minute late here, just picking up on another article. I guess I get to do my last show here. It's Tuesday, November 24th, and I am out of here on Saturday. I will finally be out of this dungeon and into the new property and a new office and actually some daylight and some room around me and so forth. So hopefully I'll be able to get all that done over the weekend and be back up and going good on Tuesday evening again. So uh, everything's a little bit disarrayed for me this week, but just doing the finals on everything and the final packing and closing down the shop and getting ready for that to move. And then it's been a bit of a work and a challenge over the last little while, but all in all in God's plan and all moving forward and very excited. And house is back together. Kara's down with me, and so we're under the same roof again, which makes the whole world a difference to everything. Better hit the repeat on the background there. Um, so of course today I wanted to touch a little bit of base since my title tonight was World War III, as of course you're seeing posted all around that with the activities that have been happening, um, that's been kind of the go for things with the general posts and so forth going on. So I'm just going to switch over to our FB page. I started off this morning, of course, with the shooting down and Putin's reaction to it. I'm sure everybody have seen most of these all over Facebook today. But um, this is the game plan. Isn't this what everybody was calling for? I know we at NBC were. Um, this is just an ongoing stage of everything. Does anybody really believe that Turkey just arbitrarily decides to shoot down a Russian plane without the approval of the U.S. and without the approval of the rest of the NATO? Everybody knew this was coming, or does everybody still really believe that nobody knew all these people were in Paris going to take on to these attacks without knowing anything at all? Um, this is becoming on such a farcical joke. Um, that people are still buying into all of this stuff and absolutely not turning their back. And of course, Russia um, shows up that this is uh, by their radars and everything else. The plane wasn't over there, um, and this is the way that these type of things go. So, and as I mentioned in the post here, can most of the people in the world get it this time? Can they actually see that this is just going to be, if they allow it to happen, a battle that only the elite are going to end up on top? No different than every other conflict that has existed. This is a war for the banks and a war for the elite. And again, these serfs and us are going to be the downfall of this, are going to be the millions that are slaughtered because of it, because of our own ignorance and our own ability to stand behind each other and to join. to put all of these petty, irrelevant, inconsequential differences behind each other and actually stand behind each other, that we're on this planet and we share it and we bleed the same red. And I know these are all the cliches and everything else, but we're just not getting it. As I mentioned on a show a couple of weeks ago, I mean, how many deaths have occurred from the Second World War to now? A war today, in the scale that they're proposing, especially in conjunction with, remember, look at the left hand as the right hand keeps on doing here. This agenda they're putting through the UN for 2030, which I don't think we'll ever make it that far. It'll be implemented well beforehand, or it will be the actual plan to end world conflict of the NWO and the total enslavement of mankind. It will be the mark of the beast, your IFD chip, your total 100% control over everything that you think and do. I mean, our schools have pretty well gotten most of the generations there and so dumbed down the population that they're not too far from it. So that's another 2 generations stuck in there. But more importantly, in another 5, 10 years, how are any of us that have the capabilities to speak out, that have the resources to speak out, or have the gumption to stand up, how are we ever going to have the resources to ever get the message out? How are we ever going to have a chance to reach anybody? YouTube's already being shut down, things pulled. The whole copyright mess for dozens and dozens of people that I know have done is so much work over the years. And I think I mentioned that a few shows ago. Get off of YouTube. Everybody, get off of it. Join the individual sites that are out there and start supporting each other. And go to the sites so people can build their archives and not lose their material. And yes, I do blame some of the people themselves. I mean, you wanted to go with this great little glitch. Here's everything for free. And you just hand everything over to them. Well, now they take it from you. And I hear guys now complaining, well, I've just lost 500 videos. I just lost 1,200 videos. I just lost 3 years worth of work. Well, you're an idiot. Why, you didn't have it backed up at least? You don't have your own archives on a hard drive somewhere? I mean, I'm computer stupid. And but you think I would ever turn my property over to somebody on the internet and then not have anything? So there is responsibility out there for everybody to share into it. But this also comes down to kind of the same principle. We got to stop this petty indifferences about things and start looking at the bigger overall picture. I don't care what religion you are. Yeah, I have my faith and I have my beliefs. But if we're looking at this topic and we're looking at this form of discussion and we're at this table in this room, no different than if we were talking about dealing with the First Nations or dealing with another country or dealing with here, is it our priority right here, first and foremost, and the most important thing is to save this planet and save the life on it? Then we can work down the other petty stuff. Because if you're going to keep on fighting over this petty stuff, end up in these conflicts and keep on going and going, all you're doing at the end of the day is absolutely ending your own life and ending other people's life. But I mean, how many decades has this been said by the great writers and the great poets and I mean, it has to be hundreds of people that are well beyond my understanding and intellect. But we, as the everyday people, have got to start preaching it, and we got to start living it. Because as long as we keep only seeing it as ideas on a page, or some ideas in a meme that we see in somebody else's post, and go, oh, I'll click, oh yeah, I kind of like that, I'll share it. Oh yeah, I kind of get that, I agree. And then you see some of these social experiments. That's one of the clips I was just looking at. You know, a guy put a whole bunch of dollar and $5 bills on himself and walked down the street saying, take what you need. And it was amazing the business people, and it was amazing the amount of women that came up and took the stuff off them. And they go, oh, I've got a nail appointment tomorrow. I could use this. Oh, I need another handbag. I could use this. Another pair of shoes. I can use this. People all well to do, all whatever. And then they pass the homeless people. They take one or two. They wanted a meal today. And pass up the rest and go tell the people, well, you know, no, there's other people down there. Give it to them. It really, the longer I spend in this, the more that I see this education system is such an integral part of the web that we're turning our kids over, we're turning generations over into a system that teaches them how to live and how to think. And if we can't figure out that that's this indoctrination and training is going to be impossible to fight 18 years later. You want to start trying to teach them 18, 20, 25 years later to try to undo all of that and then try to do put something else in its place. This is enough about just reading stuff and just sharing stuff and so forth. If we don't start actually putting things into our daily lives and start preaching to each other every single day and having conversations at the coffee shop, and every time that we do try to deal with somebody to get something or whatever, we talk about economy, we talk about money, and don't we, you know, I had to change some of the signs on the truck today. I'm getting ready for this whole move. There's 10 people I've got to deal with. Every single one of them, I'm telling them, look how, you know, how is it for you? Isn't this, you know, and one guy I'm telling him, going, this is going to be great for you next year. You're not going to know what to do because the economy is going to crap. So that means your business is going to go up like crazy because everybody's going to be scrambling and they need advertising and they need signs and they need this and they need that. And business is going under and new businesses coming in and they'll have to. And he was like, you're absolutely right. We got to start talking to each other. And we got to start caring about what things are and start dealing fair. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do. That's why the move, the next stage into things, it's about actually doing something. So to start giving, hopefully, ourselves some little more level of comfort. It goes kind of back in with some of the stuff I was doing with Canada Nation and uh, the beginning of this series of us changing our consumerism and what we actually use to live on this planet, what we need and what we don't need. our expectations, what we think makes us happy. A lot of this sometimes isn't easy, but you have to go through a process, and I think it becomes much easier when you do take it as it's a process. It's just a process, but you have to start. You can't get somewhere without taking the steps. The rest will come. The Lord provides. The rest will come if you do what you're supposed to do. So I do really encourage you to start supporting. MediaBroadcastCenter.com is up. Everything is open for free right now, probably until the new year, and then we'll tier it so that hopefully we can get some support with it and keep on being able to do what we do. But we won't be just handing things over to YouTube so that when they turn around and decide that they no longer like the message that we're saying and just wipe everything out, we're done. Like I've seen a half a dozen other guys go in the last couple of weeks. So it's up to you, as it always has been. This is your responsibility, and as you're going to see this world get worse and worse and worse, and them playing their agenda, they have to do something now. They got a total fiat currency that's ready to absolutely collapse. Oil prices down under 45. Don't think it spiked a little bit with this plane being shot down? Somebody just made tens of millions of dollars with oil going up 10, 15 cents for the hour, 2 hours after the announcement of this plane down. Check it out. And to think that somebody didn't know all of this pre-hand, it'd be very interesting to see all the trades that happened worldwide this morning. And how many tens and hundreds of millions of dollars changed hands in a 4-hour window. And of course, that's just our normal economy, that we insist on having a petroleum-based economy with fiat crap and being in all of this circle. But that's time for another show. Anyway, I'm going to keep on doing my prep. Our answers are within us. And of course, our ultimate answer is with our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. As always, try to be a little better tomorrow than we are today. God bless, and we'll see you next week.